I'm very excited. I give a lot of credit to Nebraska, Coach Joseph. When I popped on the film and saw the way they played against Indiana coming out of a bye week, I knew we would get their best shot. Obviously, the crowd here was what the Nebraska crowd always is. A lot of credit, but I just thought our guys, we knew we were going to get their best shot. I thought they weathered the storm. This crew that we coach on a daily basis as coaches, I can't tell you how much we enjoy being around them. I think the bye week, just their approach, their mentality, we concentrated on fundamentals. Our second team goal this week was the best fundamental football team will win this game. And I thought our guys concentrated on that, and they ended up coming through in the end. Tommy was exceptional again. Again, good play calls by Barry. Had some things kind of go wrong in the first half. It was just kind of the perfect storm. But if we persevere, keep the faith, I think it shows their confidence, right? I think a lot of times when you hit some bumps in the road, guys flinch and get intimidated or start doing things out of character, and we just stuck to our guns and stayed with what we did and made some second half adjustments. I think defensively they had less than 30 yards in the second half, just the way that our guys adjusted, took away some of their better players. Obviously when their quarterback went out, that made a big difference, but a really good job of adjusting. So with that, open up for questions. Yeah, fair to say. Yeah, so the question was, how do we find this workman-type mentality to get wins on the road? And I just kind of preach it to them, right? Like, one thing I'll say is these guys take everything in that we talk about. I talked all week that this was not, hey, you got to buckle up, Buttercup. This is going to be a tough game, going to be a road environment. I've been over here. I understand how hard it is to win here. A bye week, they did what they did against Indiana. I knew they were going to come out. I've known Whip for a long time. Some of those play concepts, designs were really, really well designed to take advantage of looks that we gave them. So I just think our guys prepared all week. I can control what's said in our room, right? But I can't control what you guys say to them when they go home with their mom and dad, their aunt, their uncle, their girlfriend, their cousin. Everybody's telling them how good they are, right? And I think this group just really continues to show up, go to work. I think they're excited to play Michigan State. Is literally as soon as we're walking off the field, I hear them talking about it. So I think our guys are locked into the moment. We talked a lot about as you get better, right? And some of us people in the building haven't really experienced this before. And as you get better, people always want to talk about the end. It's kind of weird, right? Like when you get better and better, everybody wants to talk about where you're going to end up, right? Like what we need to concentrate on is the journey, right? And the journey we've been on since last January to get to where we are today has been probably one of the most enjoyable journeys I've ever been on in my life, right? And I tell these guys all the time, like, I've been around some championship teams. I've been around people that have done things, and this team is just on that same caliber, if not better, right? We're an exceptional defense. We have playmakers on literally both sides of the ball in the kicking game. Caleb Griffin to come back in and do what he did today, and he made some field goals, but what he did in kickoff coverage was like money in the bank. So it's just another great indicator of our roster.
What's going to fuel that confidence and not things were not going great?
I think it's just faith, right? Like when it's bumpy, we got to be at our best. That's one thing I talk about all the time. Like we went outside on Tuesday, and it was a rainy day on Tuesday, and I knew forecast was going to be 65 and sunny for today, but Tuesday we went out in the rain because I told him, I said, I don't know if Saturday is going to rain, but over the next 5 weeks, there's a chance we're going to play in a bad weather game, right? Our last 5 games last year, 3 of those 5 were in bad weather games or wet weather games. So I said, what we're doing today on Tuesday may not apply to Saturday, but it will help us at some point in the future. And I think I just always throw it in their face that we're doing things that we've learned that they don't have to worry about. Just keep staying the course with us, and we'll get you where you need to be.
Today, another example is Sidney Brown maybe just playing his best football.
Sid's playing good football. The good news for Sid is he's playing around a lot of other really good players. Quan played exceptional way today. Spoon traveled with number 3, so Spoon, continues to show his presence. I think when great players get a chance to go against good players and you see the results, that makes a statement, right? Like I literally remember being around great players in the past, and when they're good players, our good players are going against their best players, and it kind of turns out the way it did today. That says something about the competitive nature of our guys.
Coach, we run a lot about Chase because of all the numbers, Chase Brown, all the numbers he's got. It's kind of cool we get to write about Sidney this time because of what he did today.
Yeah, Sid's, great question. I know Chase gets a lot of attention, but Sid, man, like just what he brings to our defense, his tenacity, his power. when I talk to the NFL scouts, I talk a lot about. I had a player in my past when I was at Iowa by the name of Bob Sanders. Bob had a unique ability to generate a lot of power in a short amount of space, and that's what Sid does. Sid can make a lot of power in tight windows. He can play the high ball. I've put him on more and more special teams. He's very, very opportunistic. He's got all the same gene pool. Like Sid and Chase, you take them out of the game of football, they're everything that you want, right? Like it just happens to be they're both great players.
Why is this been one of the most enjoyable journeys?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we're 7-1. That makes it a lot easier, right? But the kids, the dynamics, just little things within the stories, right? Like this Wednesday had a player that went through a tough moment with somebody, and just those little things that never make the paper. So I think these kids are they really, because of, like Palcho getting recognized today, right, as the most decorated or most starts in Big Ten history, like the way the kids just reacted to him in the locker room, those journeys, those little stories within the stories, those are the things at the end of this year that we'll look back and are really enjoyable. And then just, to see the excitement in Illinois football, right? If Michigan State, if we sell that thing out next year, it's something Josh dreamed about and told me about when I came here, right? And it's something we've been building to. And, if we could fill that stadium up to capacity and give our guys those last 2 home games, that and produce something special. We keep saying we're going to do our part, right? And the Illinois fan base continues to keep doing their part.
Josh got a handoff, but we didn't see him.
Yeah. I just don't think it was quite there yet. One of the things that we talked about, the doctors and I with Josh, is just like we wanted to make sure confidence was there. Like, and doctors can't measure confidence, and I can't. Only Josh can tell us that. So I know he wanted to go today, and I just didn't feel great, and I don't want to ever put a player in harm's way. So I think if we give him one more week, and he's been cleared to play, we showed him all the things he needed to see, but I want to make sure he's right? He's a very special player with a very bright future, and I don't want to ever put anything in the way of that.
What stood out to you about getting on trade today?
Yeah, Spoon is, one of those guys that, I think Spoon loves competition. Like he really, truly, in our locker room, if I decide to go, like when we go good on good, you either go ones or ones twos. And if I yell out ones versus twos, he's always screaming at me, right? Like he's like, no, ones. I'm like, shut up, Spoon, right? Like, but, he's just competitive as all get out. I remember there was a play in fall camp where I got after him a little bit because he shoved Isaiah, on the sideline, right? And I got out, he and I got into it, right? And then he was mad at me for like 2 days. I said, we good yet, right? And it's just his competitive nature. He just loves to compete, and today was a great example of that.
Sydney's first pick there at the end of the first half. How great ownership does that for you guys?
Just catch the one, CTOTTY, catch the ones they throw you, and our guys have defined that. Ryan does an incredible job. Ryan and Aaron work ball skill drills every day, and there's a great example of that today.
Okay.
Sorry, that's yeah.
People are going to mention you, Coach of the Year awards, and things
Yeah.
like that, and other jobs that are open. Like, you seem to really enjoy this. You're talking about it here. Like, what have you thought about this place for you? And
So great question, and I get the questions. During the bye week, I was on the road Sunday, Monday, got back Tuesday, worked with our guys Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got back on the road Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I had a lot of time in the plane, right, and a lot of time, and I was really all of my time. I say, you guys work on Nebraska, I'm going to work on Illinois, right? And we went and we've had some success this week in recruiting, and I really have to forecast what our roster is. And when Josh and I first got together, literally the first phone call was about sustained success, not just success, it's sustaining it, right? And I think that's what we're clawing at right now. Everybody wants to focus on this year, but believe me, I'm focused on this year. But it's really exciting to think about where we can go, right? Guys that we have in our program that are young developmental guys, guys that we're signing right now that I think when we bring them in, like last year when we got Isaiah Adams and we got Zy Chrysler to commit, like I knew what those guys could be, I thought, right? And that's the stuff as we start to add people. I think we'll get one here in the next 24 hours. Like those are the people that I'll be like, man, these guys are going to change, Illinois hopefully for a long time. Thank you. Yep.